In this video, I am going to look at a game I played last Tuesday in the fourth round of this year's Horsham Club Championship. I had the black pieces and was up against Mark Broom. We were both on 3 points out of 3, so this was an important top of the table clash. The game started with the Botvinnik system, a favourite of my opponent. c4, knight f6, g3, g6, bishop g2, bishop g7, knight c3, castles, e4, d6, knight on g to e2, c5. I think this is stronger than e5 as black keeps the long diagonal open for his bishop. d3, knight c6, castles, rook b8, a4. White decided to hold up black's expansion on the queen side at the cost of weakening the b4 square. a6, rook b1, knight e8. Black regrouped the knight, intending knight c7 followed by b5. Bishop e3. White now threatened d4. Knight c7, but black ignored the threat, believing it to be harmless. d4. c takes d4. Knight takes d4. Knight takes d4. Bishop takes d4. Now black should have taken the opportunity to play the freeing break b5. Instead he chose knight e6, hoping to dominate the d4 square, but leaving d5 weak and abandoning the freeing b5 break. Play went bishop takes g7, king takes g7. Now, knight d5 was best when white at least has the more active knight. He could then claim a slight advantage. Instead, he chose the weaker queen e2. This allowed black to play knight d4 and e5. Knight d4, queen e3, e5. Now white has to decide whether to tolerate the knight on d4 or exchange it, leaving himself with the worse bishop. Knight e2. White opted for the latter course, hoping that d6 will prove weak. Knight takes e2 check. Queen takes e2. Bishop e6. The pawn on d6 is not weak, as black can easily arrange his pieces to defend it. Rook on f to d1. Queen c7. b3. Now black should again have taken the opportunity to play the freeing break b5. Instead he continued to manoeuvre his pieces with rook on f to d8, but his position remains passive. Play continued. Bishop f1, rook on b to c8, rook d2. White started to regroup his pieces, looking to bring his bad bishop into play and to double rooks on the d-file. Now, black should have gone for counterplay with queen c5, intending queen b4 followed by a possible later b5. Instead, he played the committal a5. This deprives black of the chance to play b5, leaving him with a passive position. White continued to build with rook on b to d1, while black looked to put pressure on the white queen side with queen c5. Play went queen f3, rook c6, bishop d3, h5. Black threatened bishop g4, but this was easily parried. Bishop e2. Rook b6. Queen c3. Rook c8. King g2. King f8. f4. White decided it was time to take action. Now black should have kept things closed with queen b4 when white has no clear way to make progress. Instead he tried to force matters with e takes f4, but this left black's position exposed. Play went g takes f4, king e7, queen g3. White threatened to penetrate the black king side. f6. Black took desperate measures to keep the white queen out. Unfortunately, there does not seem a better way to do it. Now, queen takes g6 would have lost the queen to rook g8. So white chose king h1, making queen takes g6 a real threat. Play went rook g8, protecting g6. Rook d3. Rook c6. I used 10 of my remaining 14 minutes up deciding on this move, as it was hard to decide what to do. My choice here doesn't seem the best, as black moves his rook to an inferior square, while doing nothing to stop white's build-up towards opening the centre with e5. I had wanted to play bishop f7, but then e5 is very strong. D takes e5 is met by rook d7 check, etc. King f8, intending bishop f7 and king g7, looks like a better defensive try. At least e5 would be less of an issue then. Anyway, I chose rook c6, and play went bishop f3. White now threatens e5, exploiting the weak position of the rook on c6. Rook b6. Black now admits rook c6 was a mistake, but he has wasted a couple of valuable moves. Queen e1. Queen b4. Queen h4. Queen c5. Black again wastes a couple of moves, this time with the queen. e5. White takes the opportunity to break through. This should have proved decisive. D takes e5. F takes e5. Queen takes e5. Rook e1. Now queen c5 is met by rook d5. I chose instead queen c7. And now white had a win with rook on d to e3. Here are some illustrative variations. King f7. Rook takes e6. Rook takes e6. Rook takes e6. King takes e6. Bishop d5 check. Wins a piece as the rook on g8 drops. This is the key reason why this line works for white. Or rook e8. Bishop e4. And black has no defence against bishop takes g6. For instance, king f7. Bishop takes g6 check. King takes g6. Rook g1 check. King f7. Queen takes h5 check. King f8. Queen h8 check. King e7. Rook g7 check. King d8. Queen takes e8 check. King takes e8. Rook takes c7. Instead, he played the tempting bishop d5, but now black had king f7 and he was able to escape. Now after, bishop takes e6 check, rook takes e6, rook takes e6, king takes e6, queen e4 check, queen e5, black would have been fine, as queen takes b7, queen e1 check, king g2, queen e2 check wins the white rook. Instead, white went for rook takes e6, hoping to exploit the pin, but following rook takes e6, rook e3, rook on g to e8, queen e1, queen d6, black was holding things together. White was able to win a pawn with queen takes a5, but after king g7, rook takes e6, rook takes e6, bishop takes e6, queen takes e6, queen c7 check, king h6, queen takes b7, black was now able to force perpetual check with queen e1 check, king g2, queen e2 check. King g1. Here white offered a draw which black accepted. White cannot avoid the perpetual check, while black doesn't have an obvious way to play for more. Note that white was forced to move the king back to g1 as the other moves lost. King h3 is met by queen g4 mate. King h1 is met by queen f1 mate. King g3 is met by h4 check, when king takes h4, queen takes h2 check, king g4, f5 check, king f3, queen h1 check wins white's queen. Or king f4, g5 check, king f5, queen e5 check, king g4, queen f4 check, king h3, queen f1 check, and king g4 is met by f5 mate, and queen g2 is met by g4 check, which wins white's queen. Or king h3, f5, intending queen g4 mate, queen g2, queen e3 check, king takes h4, g5 check, queen takes g5, check, queen takes g5, check, king h3, queen g4 mate. So white went for king g1 and, as I said, the players agreed a draw.